Right, we on? Is it on? Is it on?
It's on.
All right, what's up, y'all? Sorry, I got a little excited and yelled a little bit. Should know better than that, right? Well, welcome to this podcast. This is an exciting day and time, and we're here South by Southwest 2017. There's a great group amongst all of us, and I think you know what? Before we get started, let's have a toast, you guys. This is exciting.
You can open my drink, but
So wait, here.
Hey.
It's time to open it then. Cheers, you know. Welcome to South by.
sponsored by Strange Land Brewery.
Oh,
Best pills in the city.
that's a very bitter beer. It's delicious.
So good.
All right, so this is a podcast that we're going to be talking about a couple different things, but the main focus that we want to focus on, if you will, is being young and being involved. That's the general theme of this podcast, and we're going to hit on a lot of different topics. But before we start, I think we should all introduce ourselves. What do y'all think?
Yep.
Yeah, let's do it. Come on, you guys are way too quiet. I need a yes, God. Yes, God. Okay. My name's Hugo. I am a video editor here in Austin. I've been doing that for a couple years now. I've been in Austin since 2009, and I am 25 years old.
And I am Ingrid. I work in PR, do more media relations and influencer work. And I'm originally from Dallas, but I like to come back in and out of Austin since I graduated from UT. And first generation Mexican American here. Proud to be here.
Hi, I'm Cynthia. I just recently graduated. I'm an assistant account executive, a PR professional, and I'm 25.
Hey, I'm Luis. I'm an account manager here in Austin, and I'm an original Austinite, unlike everyone else.
Hometown boy.
No shade.
I'm Carla. I'm a digital buyer. I'm 28. Ooh.
Still young.
I'm a Houstonian, so what?
Ooh, Houston H-Town.
I was born there.
I'm Hector Cifuentes. I just graduated from Texas State University. I am a co-owner of Tenoch Labs, where we do creative work, video, websites, just anything you can think of. It goes down. But yeah, that's me.
And my name is Kevin Quintero. I'm co-founder of Tenoch Labs, and it's a small digital company. We do content creation, and yeah, that's who I am. I'm 23, born in Mexico, and here I am now with all y'all professionals.
Very cool. Very cool, y'all. So, being young, being involved, what does that mean to you guys? I mean, I know it can mean a lot of different things, but what do you think are some misconceptions about being young and involved in any kind of platform these days, whether it's media, whether it's, the corporate world? What are some of y'all's thoughts on that?
What you said? What are the troubles of being young?
Yeah,
and
some
involved?
misconceptions that people have. Like, I'll give you an example. People tend to look at somebody our age range, and they think, automatically. Well, to start off, we fall under the category, and as a millennial, you may not identify as that, but we fall into that category. So people right away will give you that stereotype and say, oh, you're a complainer. You are somebody who is hardworking and driven, on the flip side of that. So what are some misconceptions? What are some troubling things that you think we experience as people being young and involved?
I think one thing that I definitely experienced, especially in corporate America, is, or even just in general, of being able to give up. Like, we give up really easily. Like, if something gets hard, we're defined as that. But I think in my eyes, it's not giving up. It's knowing, especially like knowing the hardships that my family went through. I don't want to put up with anything less than what I deserve. So I kind of have this battle of being classified as a millennial, but then also classified as being first generation to be in corporate America. And if I don't get that level of respect, I'm out. So that's the quitting that I will be able to do.
Like you just said. So you're saying like millennial, but the thing is, like, there's so many different types of young people out there. Like for example, you. millennial, but also me, I guess I'm considered a millennial, but I'm also a first generation college student, first generation. My parents are both from Mexico, and I'm the first in my family to graduate. So I don't necessarily, when people say I'm a millennial and, oh, you're lazy, entitled, this and that, but at the same time, being a first generation, a Hispanic in a university, and also being a huge minority too in any educational setting post high school, or any organization really that's that deals with corporate America, you're gonna always be. I've been a minority everywhere that I go, and you don't really you see it differently. It's a motivation. It's not even a bad thing in my eyes. It's like you have it's an extra kick, it motivates me. I guess me as a millennial, I guess it's a bit of motivation being like, how, my family and I don't know. We think about family a lot. That's what I'm trying to say.
Sure,
it's a hardcore
I don't even know
motivation.
what I was trying to say, but yeah.
It's a hardcore motivation because I've gone through a few different industry settings. They've all been corporate, but for me, it's the same thing. I will push for what I deserve. I will make sure that, you may think I'm lazy. You may think that I'm somebody who gives up, that I'm not motivated. I'm going to prove you wrong. But then on top of that, it's like the whole, I'm always a minority, you're going to see it. And then the constant struggle to break that barrier of, I'm a woman, I'm a minority, I'm trying to make it in a male-dominated world.
Yeah.
Do you see that as an advantage or disadvantage? Knowing you're a female, you don't see a lot of females in the I guess in corporate America, like in the tech field or digital, or just in general. That's according to statistics. Do you see it as a disadvantage or advantage?
I definitely think it's a double-edged sword because it's there's an advantage because it's oh yeah, I'm going to be the first or one of the first. I don't have a fear in the world to push that boundary, make my voice heard. But I do feel the struggle will fall into the fact that there aren't many of those opportunities given. So you have to really prove yourself. And it's a lot about luck, being put in a position, in a place, working with somebody who has that mentality of, I'm not going to hold you back because I believe in this millennial or minority vision or idea.
Yeah, good point. That definitely is super relevant. I think more so than ever. I think now we're living in a time that we get the opportunity to be much more outspoken. I think social media it can either be a ticking time bomb or it is your pot of gold, because a lot of people will definitely use it to their advantage. We'll see a lot of that during the entirety of South by Southwest. It just started, and we're going to be able to see a lot of different people either making it their weapon of choice or, just or ignoring their opportunity that they get. For example, I went on a business trip last week to Houston, and one of the department heads I work for a corporate company, and one of the department heads is female, and she was the only female in that whole team. It was a group of, 6 men, and she was the assistant to the director of the program. And she was super cool. She was a boss bitch. I was just so yes, queen, come on, show these dudes. Because I rarely see female editors, talking about I'll think about what I do. It's super rare. And when I see one, and not only is she involved, but she's somebody who is making an impact, making a statement. And she, if I'm not mistaken, she's in her late 20s. So again, she's just somebody who at that young age already made it up to a position in corporate America and just owning it. I think that it's just such an example and such a good she's a good example to show off to people. It's great.
And that's another topic in itself, owning it. I know that's been brought up to me lately, of my boss telling me, Ingrid, you know what to do now, own it, and I feel like my whole life I've seen my parents they're very humble people. So whenever they do come with an idea or they do have something to say, they've always crouched down. And that's what I know what to do, right? Because that was taught to me. And it's hard for me to be like, I thought of this idea and I'm going to own it and I'm going to be proud and I'm going to stand by it. But I think that barrier is like an opportunity that we need to take on. Because if we can't do it, imagine our children aren't being able to do it. It's like we have to break that barrier of owning our shit, right?
For sure.
If we don't do it, no one's gonna do it.
Yeah.
No one else. If we don't take initiative and we don't start making shit happen, no one else is gonna do it for us.
Yeah.
Like, you know, for especially like I mean, the world that I live in, I see it as a young Hispanic, I guess millennial, if you can consider it that. But if no one else puts in the work to make us be up there in the limelight in any career that you choose, because growing up I wouldn't see people like me on TV or anything, you know, like or like where you'll see like heads of companies or whatever. You never see like a Hispanic or whatever. But if it's not us that want to change it, then no one's gonna change it for us.
But it's also about doing it ourselves, but then also bringing up people around us to be with us doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like bringing up people.
Are you talking about like helping the community?
Yeah, like bringing, like, let's say I have an opening for something. I want to bring in someone that I know that can put in the work, you know?
Yeah, it's all up to us. Like, if we can't... Oh, hey, we got Furman coming in. This is
Ooh,
Furman.
we got more guests. Let's grill him.
What's up, man?
Dude, you're late. We have been missing and talking about you this whole time. You have so much to catch up on. I don't know this person. What's up, man? You want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hey everyone, my name is Fermin Camacho, Kevin's and Hector's friend.
Tell them what you do.
I do finance for Apple.
Speaking of corporate.
Just in time.
Oh, very cool. How old are you?
I'm 23.
23, doing finance for Apple.
Am I the oldest one here?
Are you?
You're the most experienced.
Whatever, yeah.
Oh, you're that.
Ain't nothing but a number.
Very cool. Well, welcome. So our topic of the day is being young and being involved. You know, letting that fall under different categories. I mean, right now we've already picked up on being a woman, being young and being involved, being a first generation American.
Remembering your family. Yeah.
Families.
Right.
You know, just so to you, what are some misconceptions about being young and being involved?
Misconceptions. I would say, I guess, dumb. Not experienced necessarily, but the misconceptions, man. Yeah, honestly, just, you know, not having the experience or having the motivation to, you know, get started, basically. I don't know, it's like my biggest factor at that point. You know, I was trying to just get motivated, get out there. Being a 23-year-old in finance is very hard, since everyone's at least, you know, 10 years older than me half the time. So, you know, motivation there.
And how intimidating is that for you?
Very intimidating. I get told my friends most of the time, I have no idea what I'm doing half the time. But
you just swing it.
Yeah, I swing it. You know, I take the punches. I
You
roll
own
the
it.
punches.
Yeah, own it.
Yeah.
I heard a quote today. I was sitting in one of the podcasts earlier, and it's not. See, like a lot of people, like they think of young people as not experienced or this and that. But what it really is, it doesn't even matter what age you are. But it's how you act upon the situation that you're in. It's not what you know, but it's how you act with your circumstances. So I guess that's what a lot of employers look for too. Maybe, you know, that's what when I was sitting in on, they said that is really important. Some people don't learn that even till they're 50 years old, you know. But it's really important how you act to a certain situation, not based on what you know, but how you act to the situation that's given to you. So, I mean, I guess winging it is a skill.
Yeah.
I'll put that on my resume.
And then also, like, I've had a recent experience where I literally broke down and cried afterwards. Is I was given the opportunity and to be at a table where everybody was X amount of years older, and there were some people too, but they were more experienced than I was. I was super intimidated, seriously, like sweating. And I'm like, how am I going to start this conversation? How am I going to chime into this conversation? And the avenue of, like, social media came up. I don't like to be labeled as, like, a millennial that knows social media, but cool, like, just, I know I can think of cool shit ideas. Like, that's going to be resonating to the target audience or whatever. And I finally got the guts to speak up. And when I said it, they're like, they all got quiet. And I thought I was, like, giving them a stupid idea. And they're like, oh, my God, let's use it. And I'm like, what? This is crazy. But my boss is like, it's not the amount of years you've done this. It's about what you know. That's like why you're at a table. That's why you're in this position. Something inside of you has triggered them to be like, hey, you're good at what you do. You need to show it and share that with everyone.
Well, and I think the key thing there that we've all kind of said is fear.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
You have to let go of the fear, because at the end of the day, you do have something to give to, whatever opportunity. You have something to put on the table. I mean, as much as those older that are outside of the millennial generation, as much as they hate to admit it, they don't know technology.
Yeah,
We've grown up with it. So a big example is showing my parents how to Facebook, how to text.
El face.
And now they use it more than I do, but like at the same time, it's like being that bridge for them. And to think that in corporate America, there still are people who refuse to give in, but they want to play off that they know it, but they will never admit that they need your help, because of, obviously it's like, I'm asking for help from somebody younger. But for me, I also feel it empowering when somebody older than me comes to me and says, I don't know how to do this. Can you help me? Because that for me is just a game changer. Like,
but it's not even like, I think of it's not even conquering. It's like making fear your friend. Because no matter what, you're going to have fear involved in whatever you do. So it's like you either befriend it or have that little enemy being beside you the entire way, and you're just like giving it shade the entire.
Own it.
Yeah.
Own it that you are stepping outside of the comfort zone.
I think that fear that you're speaking of is probably one of the biggest reasons we have that, as millennials, we have that stigma tied to us, because and it's fear coming from both sides. It's fear from those older outside of that category thinking, well, these kids are acting a certain way because they just feel that they need to be acting a certain way. They need to be acting entitled because that's the only way they're going to get through. And that kind of power, I think, is scary. I mean, even at somebody our level, I can see somebody my age, working at a certain company or doing a certain job, getting a certain amount of money that intimidates me. And it makes me think, okay, am I not doing enough? It starts building that fear. And so whenever I do get something that I'm really good at, or I find a subject that just really I like, it intimidates me to want to show that off, so then the fear comes in on that side. I think a lot of the entitlement and a lot of the ideas that people have about millennials are born out of fear. They're born from us thinking, okay, so I need to come at this in a way that not only shows off that I know what I'm talking about, but that I'm serious, and people can definitely misread that as, oh, they're being entitled. They're being a crybaby. They're just wanting to get everything handed to them on a silver platter. And it's like, no, it's definitely not that. You're tying that to this giant group that has all these ideas. And while we may not have that experience yet, that doesn't mean that we don't know what we're talking about.
Isn't there like a quote that's like, if you're not completely terrified of something you're doing it wrong?
Oh, yeah.
Makes sense. What about you, Luis? You've been really quiet over there. I was thinking you were going to be...
Cynthia.
Yeah, I feel like everyone is saying what I want to say, so I'm just like, just have the spotlight. Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with everything you guys are saying. Being Mexican American, first generation, it's not easy. We have to prove so many people wrong. You have to prove that you're not the bad hombre that people, want to label you as. And, it's a constant struggle having to always, give off a first good... I mean, you have to make good first impressions anywhere you go, but for us, I feel it's even more important. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's kind of my take on that. And then the whole fear thing, nothing cool ever happens in the comfort zone. So there's I've learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
That is a really, really good point. Nothing cool ever happens in the comfort zone.
You can quote me on that.
You need to put that on a t-shirt.
Next Gary V.
Watch, if I don't see that next week walking around the streets of Austin during South by, then I'm going to get on it, because that was good.
Thank you. What about you, Cynthia? What do you have to say?
No, I completely agree. I feel like one of the fears that I've always had is just because I'm a minority, and you're always constantly, we struggle. Like me being a first generation, seeing my parents struggle, and just we're always, I don't know how to say it, but we just get stuck into that idea that, oh, you're not going to do anything. You're not going to graduate. Well, I did that. I graduated high school. After that, I went to college. I worked my butt off for that. And then just trying to find a job after. It's been like a constant struggle, just, and a fear, I guess, that I've had is just that I'm going to be that statistic. But I've pushed myself to get out there.
That's the key word right there. Like, I've lived by, I will not be part of the statistic. Like, I will not be, I mean, for me, I grew up in an area where a lot of my parents' friends all had daughters my age who were having children.
Yeah.
And I said, I will not be somebody who has a child in, like, you know, at 16, at 18, in high school. I will not be someone who does not graduate high school. I will go to college. I push that further to I will get a graduate degree. And for me, that's what I've always moved the needle on, like proving that I will not be the statistic. Because if I'm at a table and somebody says, oh, well, you're a minority, you know, you probably, you know, list every stereotype we have. And I'm like, actually, no, I don't fit any of those. For me, it's just, it's a motivator to be like, don't label me as somebody who you think I am when I've worked just as hard as anyone else at this table.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was gonna like just keep yeah. Hey, first of all, I just want to let everyone know that we're just here in a table, and just talking. We're not professionals at this, so just you know, we're just letting our mind.
This was
express these ideas.
What I want to know, like, everybody has that one thing that has motivated them, or has like a little voice in their head, or they repeat that one memory, whether it be like your parents' story that's like, holy shoot, how'd you get through it, or your personal story. Like, I want to hear one piece of motivation, whether it be it's like your family or someone you've heard. Like, what's that one piece of motivation that keeps going?
My parents, but I mean, it's so
like
cliche.
Like a memory though, like una historia.
No,
like,
well, yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like, it's so cliche. It's the cliche story. Yeah. Well, my dad. Well, he's a citizen, right? He's a citizen now, but his story on how he came to the United States. He took the inner tube out of a tractor in Mexico, and he floated over the river, and he crossed, and then they had to walk like over 100 miles, and they went in this abandoned house. They were in this abandoned house for weeks, and then him and some other people, and they ended up in Dallas, and then just like those first few years he was in the United States. Like he was, I think he was 24. I'm 23. I could not imagine doing that. I don't. Like I consider myself a brave person.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not afraid of a lot of things. You know, but I really that's extreme.
That's fearless. That's
someone
fearless.
does that.
That's fearless.
And he hadn't met my mom yet, but he came here for the hope.
Yeah.
Of having kids and finding love but the fearlessness, he worked in, and then I don't know how he ended up in Wisconsin shoveling shit like off at a ranch and snow.
Wow.
But the life, I'm saying that he had a life in Mexico that was he was on a ranch. You know,
Yeah.
they have a ranch in Mexico. They have cows, horses, they farm. You know, and that's a really chill life. But see, the bravery of someone wanted to know more than that reality that they know right there, because the world's huge.
Yeah.
And you think just because you went to college and this and that oh, I went to college and my mind can think and is expanded and I'm woke. You know, I know philosophy, this and that. And you think only because of that your mind can work in that certain way where you think the world's big. No, people are in little ranches in Mexico thinking just like we do, but they don't have the opportunities that we have.
Right.
And that's what I'm trying to get to is we have everything right now. Like we most of us in here, you know, or we have the opportunity to go to college, or we do, and I guess the opportunities are limitless. And I guess that motivational thing, it was just the fearlessness of my dad.
Your dad, yeah.
And then where he's at now, you know, and how I say if I'm a parent and my son graduated college and he's okay,
Heck
you know.
yeah.
You know, I did a good job. So, you know, just that fearlessness, you know, that motivates me. Just, I feel like I haven't done anything yet to compare to that, but I want to one day, you know. So just to, you know, that's really what motivates me. You know, so, yeah. What about you, Ingrid?
I think I don't get emotional, but my mom and my dad have pushed through a lot of adversity, and I think even still till this day, like there's been moments where I just really want to hit someone for anything that they do to my parents. But my mom really, I don't even know what there's no words to describe my mom. I think I try to be a reflection of her, a part of her, like a 1/10th, 1/100th of her. And she literally had a carrito of cueritos. And I don't know if you know what cueritos are. They have repollo, cueritos en vinagre, yeah, all that stuff. So she would put all the stuff in a bag and set up. This was not how it should have been done in Mexico, but she would set up outside of the school. And there's like a little hole, and the little kids would be like, "Señora, get un cuero," and my mom's like, "Okay, pásame el dólar," or whatever. So the kid would literally like put in a bag the dollar, and then my mom would throw over the wall like un chicharrón de cueritos, and like that's how my mom, like that one story has motivated me. I'm like, if my mom like had 3 girls. And all of them graduated from, 4 girls. I'm forgetting a sister. 4 girls. And 3 of them went to SMU. 1 of them went to UT. They all graduated. They all have touched corporate America at some point. Like, they all have something. And that story, it's like, literally, mi mamá no tenía negocio. Like, she didn't have a business, but she made herself her own business, you know.
She certainly had a business.
Well,
I mean, that is definitely a business.
But like classified as a business where you have like your permit and all that stuff. But and one thing I admire her, right? Period. And then I remember I was so nervous into driving. So I was taking my driving course or whatever, and it was my first time to get on the highway. So my mom's like, "Let's practice. You're gonna get on the highway." I'm like, "Mom, but I don't say like how to get in. Like, where do I go? Blah blah blah." She's like, "Ingrid, you know how to read and you know how to talk in English. What else do you need?" And at that moment, I'm like, I need to shut up because she's right. Like, I know how to read and talk English, so it's just like, figure it out. Yeah. So that's like my motivation.
Yeah, it goes back to that saying, you know, querer es poder.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. Yeah. It truly is. You know, you want something bad enough, bro, you make it happen. You know, I mean, regardless if you're selling guaritos to little kids, trying to make your way, dude, you do it. I mean, it's just, I'm
hustling.
Yeah, just hustle.
And I think that's one thing that gets tied back to us, you know, falling in that millennial category, that people think, you know, oh, well, you're not out there pushing yourself, trying to make ends meet and to, you know. Oh, you're not? Hello? Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, that much better. Yeah, I mean, that's something that we fall into that negative characteristic for millennials, because I'll be completely honest, I do know a lot of people my age who are lazy, who are just, you know, waiting around for something to come to them, taking their 2,000 pictures on Instagram, getting as many likes as they can. Dude, if you're not making any kind of moves with that, then what are you doing? I mean, what are you doing with your life?
Somewhere else.
That example, like you're asking for an example of that moment where, you know, you just kind of came into the realization. I felt that in my college experience. I have my brother and sister both went to college. You know, I came from my parents are immigrants. I'm first generation, but I was the third to go to college. But even at that, they went to college during a way different time than I did. You know, so not using that as an excuse, but I took that as, okay, I'm still gonna have to figure this out on my own. I got to a point in my college career, I failed. I was like, I got, what's the word? I was, I wasn't expelled, probation, but I was put on academic probation.
Yeah.
I was not allowed to go to UT for a whole semester. That was the last. Yeah. I was like, dude, WTF. Like, that is so your fault. Like, you let this happen. And of course, various things happen, you know, in my personal life throughout the year that led up to that. But ultimately, I mean, I couldn't wallow in my pity. I had to just stand up, shut up, and get it done. Because it was like, dude, you're either gonna make this world yours or you're gonna let it swallow you up. You have to, like, that was my moment that I realized I have all this power at my fingertips. You know, okay, so I got this placed upon me. What am I gonna do? Okay, so I started looking at courses that I could take at ACC, the local community college, to keep going. I wasn't gonna stop my education. I wasn't gonna stop and just, you know, sit there and cry about it. Get a 9-to-5 job and, you know, deviate from college. So I did that, and my world changed. That was how I got interested in video editing. That's how I got interested in the world of production. And so because of that, I told myself, dude, this is why that happened. It sucks, and it shouldn't have happened. You should have been more responsible. You should have been more careful. But take this and make it yours now. You know, go with it. These things are coming at you for a reason. You know, I had to go out and look for those opportunities, but it's what you do with them also. Because, I mean, there are plenty of opportunities. There are plenty. I mean, here today, you know, I've already started networking with a couple other people that I get the ball rolling. Okay, how can I start incorporating these people that I can help them and they can help me? You know, it's that mindset of moving forward that I think
together.
Yeah. That it's
And
something
and
that
that's
we
like
need
a
to focus
big
on.
thing. And I feel like I've noticed it more within like my Latino friends or, you know, these minorities, that we always think of our community. We always think of, you know what, I have somebody who can do that.
Yeah.
Like we always think of somebody.
Pack him in the car. Come on, let's go.
But it's beautiful to me because we want to help each other move forward.
Yeah.
Because if all you need is an opportunity, it's like, bye, aquí está.
Yeah.
Show me.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely resonate with you in my one moment
Yeah.
that really pushed me into like you guys are gonna hate on me, I'll show you. It was college, and I've lived in like this little naive bubble because I was fortunate enough that my parents worked their butts off to send me to private, you know, high schools, private schools in Houston because the public schools are not great. So they were like, you know what, we need to send you somewhere where we know you will be set up for success. You know, where it was surrounded by great people, pushed, you know, got accepted into a top private university, showed up, and my first semester, somebody, like I was walking around with one of my friends and we were talking, meeting, you know, all these new freshmen, and this guy came up and like he was like, hey, like nice to meet y'all, da-da. And somewhere in the conversation it came up of what we wanted to study, what we were doing, and I just remember one of his comments was, well, I mean, I'm glad you're trying to reach, you know, this goal, but you know you're only here because we need to fill a minority percentage.
Oh my god.
Oh, what up? Oh.
Yeah. So my face was, oh, cool. I was like, well, I'm glad they let me in that way. I'm really glad that was the reason. So it wasn't because I was a top honor student. It wasn't because I was, you know, magna cum laude, whatever, in high school. It wasn't because I busted my ass in AP classes. You know, I'm really glad that I fit that minority percentage for this university.
And thank you for telling me
Yeah,
that.
I had no idea. So, like, I walked away, but one of my friends was like, why aren't you pissed? And I was like, because those are the people I'm going to prove wrong.
Oh.
Because he may very well be there because of a daddy bought your way here. I'm not going to throw that in his face, but for me, if that's what you think of me, okay, cool. But I'll see you when I get called up with all honors on me, and you have nothing.
Boy, bye.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, definitely.
So that's been what's pushed me to this day of there's always going to be that person who doesn't think you belong or doesn't think that you have it in you. And, okay, cool, I'm going to prove you wrong.
Yeah.
Like, I will be a boss.
That's right. You are. I hope you are a boss one day.
Hey, quick question. Like, do y'all speak Spanish? Like, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So you grew up speaking Spanish?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
was there a point where you ever like when you were younger where y'all only knew Spanish, right?
Yeah.
Like, do you ever remember transitioning from thinking in Spanish to like thinking in English?
I still think it's Spanish.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Really? Like,
Yeah.
It takes me forever to write an email because I still process in Spanish. So sometimes my check of reviewing my email is, oh wait, that's the other way. Like I have to fix grammatical things because I just type something out, but I'm thinking in Spanish. It's weird.
I get caught up in presentations. Like right now, I'm thinking in Spanish, but I'm speaking English. That's why I went back and forth with Spanish and English, because it's hard for me.
That happens to me all the time, especially at work with all
Yeah.
my Caucasian coworkers. Being the only Hispanic there, I'm so used to like talking, in Spanglish. So, yeah.
Eso te sale like beach, la vida.
Mine's the, o sea,
pero,
entiendes, right?
Pero
And they're
like,
no entiendo.
Yeah, I'll definitely still forget a word. Like I'm thinking of something, I'm like, I know it in Spanish, but I don't know how to convey this in English. So give me a second,
Yeah,
Wait, let me
it's back
Google
and
it.
forth. Yeah, it's like sometimes I don't know a word in Spanish, but I know it in English, and then the same thing happens in English.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's just I thought it's just like.
But that moment, I mean, for me, it probably happened when I was really young. I mean, we grew up in public schools where, yeah, a lot of people spoke Spanish, but I mean, they have to teach in English. You have to show, you have to be educated in English. In these public schools, unless you're in a bilingual class. So yeah, I probably learned that super young.
but I was embarrassed to speak Spanish. Like, my parents and my sisters made it a fact that I cannot speak Spanish outside of the house. Like, that's only in the house, because my sisters got put in ESL classes, and they didn't want the same for me. Like my oldest sister, she actually came to the United States. Obviously, she's a citizen. She was born in Chicago, but she went to Mexico, then came back to Dallas, and she was literally doing her homework with a dictionary, like word by word translating. Then she became valedictorian. So it's like that push of like stick to English. That's how you're gonna get far. Was always my mentality. And my sister, that same sister, bought a house in a really great area in Dallas, and that's how I was able to go to school instead of going to school in the hood where I was supposed to go, right? And in high school, I look back at how it was, and I was just like this little privileged little Hispanic girl, like, oh my God, guys, like, hi, like never encouraging like myself to be like learn about my culture. And I didn't get that until I was in college. And then I realized, whoa, I'm way too Hispanic. Like, half tapatillo, I have a mangonada, and I'm like cooking myself. Like, I want some fajitas, some tacos de orqual, whatever. And I didn't realize that until I separated myself from my family.
Real quick, y'all, Ingrid makes the best fresas con crema.
Fresas con crema.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
changed my life. I am not even kidding. I've had other ones after that, and I'm like, yeah, no, these are not good. Hers are the best.
We'll bring them next time. Yeah. So I don't know. I realized that, and especially working with in the field. I don't want to say like a corporate name, but where there's a lot of Hispanics that love speaking Spanish. I was like, oh my God, it just sounds so beautiful. It's a beautiful way of communicating with one another. So.
But on that line, like, I'm always terrified when I speak Spanish sometimes because of the fact that, so at a place of employment that I was, where I'm surrounded by these people who speak like hardcore, perfect Spanish, have spoken, like, can speak it really fast and everything. I can speak it really fast. I mean, I was not allowed to speak English in my house when I got home from school. My dad made it a rule that he would not answer me unless I spoke to him in Spanish.
Wow.
Loved it. I can speak really fluently, like that is how I think. But when I'm around people, I used to get picked on where it's like, ay, ¿cómo que no sabes esta palabra?
¿Qué estás haciendo?
Like, and it's like, I'm not Mexican. Like, I'm Salvadoran.
Yeah.
So for me, it's a completely different dialect. Having worked in, a corporate environment where everyone is Mexican, I did pick it up. And my mom to this day will say, ay, tú eres mexicana. Like, yeah. And I'm like, no, because I still have moments when I'm around these people that I'm like, I don't know what that word means.
Yeah.
Like what does it mean? So it's like, for me, it's that fear that like I won't fit in either category, because it's like in English, people will say, "But you don't have an accent."
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't need one. Like,
Yeah.
How did they say straw in Salvadorian Spanish? Like a straw, like that straw, the when you're drinking out of your cup. How do you say it? Because I know that Mexican Spanish, it's different.
So it's like we call it una pajilla.
Pajilla. Yeah. My Venezuelan coworker, they call it pitillo. and we call him
Mexican's popote, right?
popote.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Popote, yeah.
So I said, "Oh, dame una pajilla," and I was like, everyone was staring at me like, "What?
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking
Oh,
about?"
I've never heard that ever.
Never heard that.
Have y'all have y'all ever I speak Spanish, you know, I speak it pretty well, but then like you meet someone that's fluent in Spanish, even like they can be from anywhere, what I've noticed a lot too, I guess in the news industry, a lot of people, they speak it's not Mexican Spanish, it's
Castellano.
what are they
Like español.
yeah, especially even in the Texas market too. You know, but you meet someone from Mexico or that's fluent in Spanish, that's their natural language, that's their first language. But then like you try to have a conversation and you can still communicate, but I've realized that I'm not my true self when I'm in Spanish. I guess when I'm speaking Spanish and in English, I'm two completely different people.
Yeah.
You know, I can be my true self in English because I don't know, it's just the way that
You feel comfortable.
it's the way that I know how to express myself. But in Spanish, I feel like I can't even fall in love in Spanish.
I can. Oh my god.
I mean, I want to.
I fall in love more in Spanish.
Yeah.
Than
We got the right music to do it. Like, you know, to fall in love.
It's not even about the music. It's about like this is a whole nother podcast, but it's like if I meet a guy and he gets me, but not only like am I like American, but like Hispanic, but it's not about like you just being Hispanic. It's not. Sometimes
It's the whole package.
The whole package.
No, but I'm saying if he was straight up, only knew Spanish. I'm saying, yeah, if I meet a Hispanic woman, yeah, and we can, but she also speaks English, like, you know, like me. But I'm saying if she's straight up, like from like Mexico and doesn't know a bit of English, no, I'm saying I could fall in love because like you never know. But I'm saying that I can't be my true self to her right now. You gotta give me a minute.
Adapt. You have to adapt.
Yeah, you gotta give me a minute.
I think that's the true reality. We all struggle with a dual personality.
Yeah.
And yes, you could go one or the other, but to feel 100% comfortable, you need that dual reality of yourself because you're gonna cross the line back and forth. Like you're just gonna jump depending on like if you're carrying a Spanglish conversation, like it's just gonna happen like naturally. I agree. I have that problem.
I agree to that, and I think that also comes back to our age range because I definitely know that people older than us, you know, I think like my brother and sister who are, you know, in their late 30s, they don't fall into that. You know, they don't struggle with that dual personality that we're talking about. You know, us on the other hand, we get the opportunity to have more platforms and more chances to utilize both that English and Spanish,
sure.
you know? So I think we struggle with it a little more.
For sure. Because my brother is 7 years younger than me, and he does not associate himself as being bilingual. We grew up in the same household. He just didn't like Spanish. And he can speak it, but I call him our little coconut because he's like, he knows basic Spanish, and he can understand it, but he just doesn't connect with it. But his biggest thing is it doesn't bother him. And to me, it would bother me if I was like him and only knew English. But again, those that are older than me, I've seen that where they steer more towards Spanish and like English is just an understanding of what they have to know. Whereas I think the beauty of our generation is we do straddle that line.
Like that's how that's how it changed with myself and my big brother is 7 years older than me, but he considers himself he grew up I think his first 10 years in Chihuahua, and his friends and they speak Spanish within each other, and you know, I'm friends with his friends too. We're really close, and also my cousins. But the way he communicates with them and the way I communicate with them is different. They're like, you know how like you meet friends in Spanish, I guess, or like, you know, but like,
yeah, definitely.
They're like, nombre, wey, chingados, but like the way they say those words and like it's so natural. But then when I say it, it just sounds like, what are you doing?
It sounds like you're forced.
Are you pandering? Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, we can't communicate. And like, it's just 7 years apart. But he's like, that's his true identity is his Spanish side.
But it comes to your experience, like what you've been growing up with.
For sure. For the longest time, I had no idea who this Simon guy was.
Who's that?
What's that?
Like when you said Simon.
Oh, Simon.
I was like, why do you keep saying it?
Yeah. And also, I've never in my life, nor do I know many people who say ese. Like,
Yeah, no.
that is a
Hey,
California
that is a stereotype.
Yeah,
That's
that is
California.
100%
LA.
like no, it's saying we're gonna go to the mall. I don't know.
I mean, that's just that's how. See, and that's how
just
mainstream
geography.
America portrayed us. Like, my name is Hector, and like when I was in football, I grew up. I mean, in Duncanville, it's like half Mexican, half black. But like, I always ended up, I played football, and like, I grew up playing sports, and I was always. So everyone that played sports in Duncanville, it was just mostly, unless you play soccer, every other sport is just a majority black, like 90% black. I was probably the only Mexican that many times. And like, my name is Hector, and like everyone, Hector, from Fridays, like, it's Angel Does Homes. I heard that like through like 8th grade all the way till I graduated. It was funny too, cause like I like that scene, but yeah, I mean I guess we even like we had an idea of who we were supposed to be growing up, But then like as we got older, we were like, what? That's dumb.
Random question. So in high school how they voted for most blah blah blah? Did anybody get anything?
I did.
What'd you get?
I got voted as most dramatic. I don't know what they were talking about. I am not dramatic.
That's why you came out suited up like a singer.
I believe that.
Yeah. Mine didn't have the word most, but I was voted like dimples. Just 'cause
Dimples?
I was always like
Aw.
likely to be smiling
Yeah.
at like anything.
That's a good one.
That's a cute one.
I was voted most random because I would just say the randomest things. Like everybody was having like a serious conversation, and I would be like, "Wait, where are we?" Like I was just random, most random. Yeah.
I was voted most likely to go to jail.
Whatever.
How many years did you do time in?
2 days.
I respect you. You're a different man now. Do you want to hear the list?
What?
There's a list.
So you guys remember that one person in high school that was like involved with everything? It was like, oh my god, like
Like
of
the
course,
total jock.
if I go to this function, this person's gonna be there for sure. You're talking to him. That was me. I was most popular my sophomore, junior, and senior year. And senior year, I was most popular, most likely to succeed, and Mr. Del Rio High School. I was that. And I was class president sophomore, junior, and senior year.
Wow.
So,
Perdón.
Did you wear your Letterman
So
in your
that-
freshman year of college?
no. I did not do. Well, it's too hot, so I couldn't wear it. No. I got schooled on that right away. They were like, don't you dare even bring it to college. Like,
You were the Danny
no.
Zuko.
I was the Danny Zuko. I was like, dude, I was the king of that school. And I did the morning announcements.
Okay, I did that too, though.
Okay, cool. Yeah. No, but it's something that I wear that with like a badge of pride.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Why not, bro? Some people.
why
So
you
do I.
should.
I bet people hated on you
Heck
because you
yeah.
were trying to do shit, and then they try to make you feel bad for you being ambitious.
100%.
You just
All the
can't
time.
help
I bet you
it
get
if
it all
you're
the time.
just funny.
I bet your own family gives you shit.
And then
Oh,
in
yeah,
college,
plenty of
weren't
cousins that do
college
that.
weren't you voted like what, Mr. TLD and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Oy.
What does that stand for?
My fun fact, like whenever you're in a new group, or I know it happened a lot in in college where they'd be, say your name and then say like something fun about you. My fun fact is that I have won 2. I've only competed in, but I have won 2 man pageants.
Wow.
Yes, ma'am. That's right.
What the hell? What?
That's right. I
What
did
is that? What is
What
that?
have you been doing with our
like
lives?
a pageant, Yes.
No.
No.
What
No.
y'all do?
I mean, it
Y'all
was
flex, oil?
It
Oil each
was.
other up?
It was a.
That's a bodybuilding.
Well, I mean, we do that too, but not on stage. No, I mean, it was like both of them were fundraisers for organizations, and it was like get a bunch of people, get a bunch of dudes up there,
Take a seat, Hector.
be funny, It was like it was a fun thing,
That's cool.
And both of those I won.
What was your talent?
The first pageant that I did, I danced. Like I did a choreographed dance with this girl from the dance team, and the second one I did this like spoken word. I was trying so hard to be like, I'm gonna be like different and do the spoken word thing. It was really,
you won,
It was really
so-
weird, but I won. So
Cheers.
Anybody else?
Who has a drink?
Junior year of high school, I was a homecoming prince.
Oh.
I campaigned so hard for that.
PR all the way.
Yeah. Never worked so hard in my life.
The day I guess we found out. Well, I found out that video where so I ran for class president. So like Kevin helped me make a video. So we made a little video, and then I ended up winning class president too.
Nice.
And before that, homecoming king too.
It keeps on going.
I feel so.
And then
I know.
I'm kidding. That's it. That's it, I swear. I don't know if you did it when you were running, but that's how when social media and like just marketing. That's why I didn't even know it was marketing until like last year. I knew what marketing was, but that was it. I mean, all throughout freaking high school, middle
You've been
school.
doing it.
Yeah, but you just don't know.
So serious question. Did you guys like do posters and stuff?
I
since,
did.
Since
One-
social
I
media
totally
wasn't
did.
around.
100%
I did,
posters.
yeah.
Like my mom would call them my poster parties. Like I'd invite friends over
Me
and be
too.
like, "All right, so we're gonna make these posters. Y'all are gonna help
Okay,
me."
let's
Like,
just stop for a second and realize that the newer generations don't know
No,
that.
yeah.
They don't know
No.
poster parties. They don't know like.
I don't know that
I
either.
never did that.
You what?
Really? When I was running for lieutenant, I would make like my whole squad like,
yeah.
hey, let's have a day where
Like,
I'll
I'll
buy
feed y'all.
I'll buy pizza
Lieutenant
and lieutenant of drill team.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I was in dance, so I would make them not make them, but ask them, be like, hey,
She made them.
be like, hey guys, let's go meet together. I'll bring pizza. Let's do this, and then we would flyer the whole school. But the sucky part about it is my school was petty, so as soon as you put it up, you should have put it up at the end because people put their posters on top of your posters.
See, at my school,
We just did
that
the
would've
video,
caused-
right? We just made 3 videos. Like we got rappers from the school to like rap about him,
Oh, that's cool.
and it went
Both
viral
heck,
like
yeah.
overnight on Facebook.
Both
Like
heck,
boom, boom,
That's
boom.
cool.
My school wasn't that ahead of their time.
Yeah.
No,
Still did posters.
one of the things that I liked most about doing that is, and now that I think about it, it was definitely marketing because I would go to like the different demographics, if you will, of that school. You know, I mean, I had at least a friend or two that were friends of friends in the different. You know, I had friends who were in band. You know, I had friends who were all the jocks, all the football players. So I'd go to like one of those people and be like, "Hey, would you mind passing out these flyers?" Or one thing I always did, like I buy like this jumbo
Cupcakes.
package of
Cupcakes. That's what they
No,
would
we
do.
were not allowed to give food. That was one thing.
I gave so much food during my campaign.
And then it worked.
It worked.
There you go. See, food. If we could do food, shoot.
Food is love.
Seriously. But no, I would go to the people that I knew were, I mean, underrepresented, if you will. Like, I'd go to the friends that I remember from elementary school, the really quiet girl that was, like, always in her books and, you know, never really socializing. I'd go to her and be like, dude, pass these out in your next class. Boom. See everybody with my pencils that had the little tag, vote for Hugo, you know. And it worked. I mean, it obviously worked. My senior year, I asked for the number of how many votes I got when I won class president. And the sponsor said this. She said, well, I won't tell you how many you got, but just know this. The person who came in second got like 25 votes. I mean, we're hundreds of people in my class.
Man, when go ahead.
You should have had a juice, and then it says, get a Hugo if you vote for Hugo.
Where were you back in the day?
I'm still available for hiring anyone.
But when I was running, so this guy, I don't even want to say his name because I'll get to what he was. I think he's plotting on killing me. But
my gosh.
well, because we were running for like another office for like Skills USA. I don't know if y'all. It's like this like
No.
it's like a like I was in video, so I competed in video, and it's like people that are like in trades. It's called Skills USA, but we were competing. I mean, we were running for like the vice president role. He was running, and I was like, there was no one running against him. I was like, I'm gonna run, so I won, and I beat him to that. He was sad. He was depressed. And the following year, he was running for class president. And I was like, I'm gonna run. And then I beat him, and then, and something else senior. But yeah, I thought he was gonna kill me because she just see me and just.
You were just picking on him.
No. But I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Key takeaway.
my friend would. Yeah. Anyways, but I would ask people. You know how you said you'll go to people that were just like, just like kind of like just by themselves. I would go to people. I asked Jordan. I didn't really talk to him. A guy that he ended up going to Texas State, but he's different. You know, that's why I love him. You know, he's different. And I went up to him and I was like, hey man, so what would you like to see? Like, you know, for your senior year, what could we do? He was like, I want you to build like the hallways like a forest and have trees so we can swing from class to class. And
I can totally do that.
Done.
And he just put his head back down on the table, and I was like, oh, all right. But then he voted for me. He told me he voted for me. But yeah, that's the things, like, you never know who you're gonna meet.
Did you follow up on his request?
No, but I said that no. But we got. I was like, hey man, I'll see what I can do, man. You know, I'm trying to get this deal. You know, with the. But yeah, it never worked out. But still, 4 years later, we're still cool. You know.
Yeah. I was gonna go on that too. It's happened multiple times that I've run into somebody who went to high school with me, and they're just like, dude, like straight up, you inspired me every single day. Like, I would see like all the stuff you were involved in and like how well liked you were, and I'm like, you know what, dude, that means a lot. Because I mean, I didn't just do it for myself. I did it to really be involved, and you know, I was always taught that to have a change in the world, you need to be the change. You need to be involved and actually be proactive about it. So yeah, I mean, there were certainly people, like you said, that would hate on you and tell you all this and that, going, you know, well,
I mean, so easily we couldn't have been any. I mean, I used to, my first 2 years, I used to just want to fight people at school. Like, someone look at me wrong.
Hector.
I just wanted to, like, I got
So aggressive.
I know.
Now the day I changed, I got beat up by like 10 dudes, and then I was like,
You got jumped.
I got jumped.
That's
Well,
the worst.
yeah, but the thing is, like, you realize that it's stupid. It's like a really archaic way of thinking, and then especially, like, you know, if you involve yourself in school or like with anything. Like, I was in soccer, and then like my soccer coach was like, "Hey, you're an idiot. You're stupid. I'm gonna kick you off the team because what I just said. You know, you're an idiot and you're stupid." And then I that's when I really thought everything. I was like, "Man, I need to change. This is dumb. I'm only here for 2 more years. I can either go one way or another way, and the roads are completely different, you know." So I guess what I'm trying, I don't know. It's just like there's decisions that we make when we're young that could take us on one road or could take us another road.
But everything happens for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
And
yeah,
it's
you can. Yeah.
Because I see where you're coming in, and Ugo touched on something that totally resonated in my head right now, where you want to inspire people.
Yeah.
And part of what I've noticed with these millennials that are coming in or who are younger than me, they don't really see the value of your, like, first impression, the value of how you look. Because at work, I have, you know, juniors that report to me, and I help them, you know, I mold them into what we want, what, you know, this industry, like, bring them up. But they're always like, "Carla, you're always so dressed up." Like, okay, yes, we're in Austin. It's a very casual atmosphere. But for me, that doesn't give me the excuse to show up to work in, like, leggings and a T-shirt. Like, it's just not my thing. Even if it's jeans or, like, a nice shirt. Like, I've always just liked to make sure I'm presentable. And I feel that I've had so many compliments where people are like, "Well, you inspire me to make sure I look good. Like, you inspire me to make sure I'm thinking ahead." I'm like, that's great. But I think my question for you guys is that something you should inspire someone? Because for me, I just thought it's natural. Like, you would want to have a good impression on someone. You would want that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, going off on that point, I think your brand, it's so important. Everything you do on, like, social media, the way you dress, who you hang out with.
Yes.
That is so
Especially with
important.
social media.
Yeah.
Sorry, did I just totally throw it?
No. I agree. I think that point you're making, you know, do you, you know, you were saying, like, do you think it's an important thing to, or what was it again?
Well, do you think it should be something we're inspiring? Like, I know it comes naturally, but my thought is, oh, that's lovely, but why? Like, why would I inspire you that if it should just be already embedded in you? Like, it should be a natural thing.
I feel like if someone judges you, I mean, I don't know if it's like, I don't know, like, if I'm answering the question, but if someone judges you based off the clothes that you have on, I don't want to associate myself with that person.
No, it's not about, you know, judging, you know, the
Not
brand.
brand,
I mean,
not
like,
what
we're talking
you're
about,
wearing.
like, you know, self-brand as in, like, the vibe, the aesthetic that you give off. Like, oh, Carla, she's such a lovely girl. I love hanging out with her. You know, that's...
But I think there's, like, an outside aesthetic, and then there's an inside, like an inner aesthetic. I think for me, I've learned that there's 2 points to this. One is you can deliver your little Louis Vuittons, your little Zara outfit or whatever, but you have a nasty personality. Yes. I don't want to deal with you. And I think it's okay. You own it with your outer clothes, you own it, but you don't own it with your inner spirit and inner personality and your motives and your highest power and how you want to give impact. I don't care. Yeah. So it's like for me, I even go like personally, I do work for like a small startup, and sometimes I go in there con mi moñoñongo, like my big old bun, like my workout clothes. But at the end of the day, I'm going to put in work. And at the end of the day, if I have to, I know my boundaries. If I need to go and speak to the client, I'm going to wear heels and I'm going to wear a dress or whatever.
But
I get
that's
it.
The key one. Like, you know who your audience is in that moment.
Yeah.
But a good example like that I always use, and it just baffles me, when somebody comes in for an interview and they're wearing
flip-flops.
It's like going
jeans that are like all like you can
torn
see the
up,
person like grab them from the floor like a shirt, and I'm just like, okay, you're coming here to try to get a position, and I want to try to focus on what you have to offer, but your appearance is distracting me from that. So it's just little things, like it doesn't even matter what you're wearing. Like I don't care about the brand, I don't care how you put together your outfit. It's the presentation. Like you can have as much confidence in the world, but at least look like you want me to make sure that you're presentable. And that's what I feel like in the industry I've seen. It's a big struggle for like the millennials. And I don't know if it's because we've had such a casual attitude towards it, or if it's literally something that is that going away.
No, I think honestly, I go back, and this is just personal. I can't talk for anybody else. My parents have never worn anything that's brand. Never. So I don't know if it's me keeping myself humble, and it's like yo puedo trabajar in like ripped pants or in leggings and anything, and I know I'll deliver my work, and maybe that's why I do it. But I mean I also know the balance. But then going back to the conversation about inspiring others, especially like talking about social media, like I like to post
Girl,
inspiring
you inspire
things.
me with your makeup tutorials like all the time.
Like inspiring things, right? But then I know that sometimes I can't deliver my story in 140 characters, you know? Because the story isn't just 140 characters. There was like a whole full like 4-page essay that went behind that one moment that you saw on social media. So if I could capture everything that went with that one inspirational post, I will do more of it. But it's hard. I have this love and hate relationship with social media, because some people are like, oh my God, what do you do? And I'm like, dude, I love what I do, but it's hard. And like, you don't see it, you know? And that's like something that I battle, like just touching base on that inspiration conversation that we had. And the second point I want to bring to that is also, I've learned going to right after I graduated, I moved to San Francisco. I struggled a bit there, but I was working for a really great company. Then financially, that's what I meant by struggle. And then I was living paycheck to paycheck, FYI. And then in New York, I worked at a top agency, which I loved. What made me come back to Dallas was my dad getting prostate cancer, because family's first. And whenever I got the news and whenever I made the decision of coming back, I had a definition of success conversation with myself of what it is to be successful. In my eyes, it was moving to New York, working for this big corporate agency and making it big in New York, and hopefully, furthering my career up to the corporate ladder. And then I had that moment when I literally saw my dad leave in my eyes, and I'm like, success isn't that. Success for me is making my parents proud and like making my future family like solid. Like y'all are taken care of for like next generation, future generation. So like my question to you guys is, what's your definition of success? Because everyone's is different.
Damn.
Leave your footprint everywhere you go. If it's through video, pictures, whatever you say, a quote.
Touch someone.
Touch them.
Like not physically, but like
And physically.
No, but I definitely like, that's a really heavy question though, because it's something I've definitely asked myself.
Yeah.
Because
And it's something you should ask yourself.
and it changes.
Yeah, it does.
Yearly, because
Yeah.
you know, as
You
you're
grow.
growing, you're changing, you're getting inspired by things, you're realizing, oh, I don't want to be a millionaire. Like, do not. But it's beautiful in the sense of, so like I have a director who's total boss like bitch. Hardcore. She walks with power.
Yeah.
I sit there and I think, and I'm like, do I want that?
Yeah.
Like, because I also see the sacrifice that goes into that. Long work hours, you know, time away from your family. And for me, I'm like you. I'm super connected with my family, where having to move to Austin was hard. Like, being in Austin, it's like, they're
Definitely.
just in Houston. It's like 2.5 hour drive. It's a long 2.5 hours when, like, you really just want a hug from them. Like, you're just having, like, a crap week. But I don't know. For me, it's finding a happiness.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think when it comes to being successful, just like every day, like at first, you know, every year you just grow. And at first I was like, okay, I need to be successful. I need to get the best job ever that I need to do to be, you know, to be successful, and so my parents could be proud. But I think the overall thing is just being happy, and being happy with the people that you're surrounded with. I think that's success.
If I can say that at the end of the day, I gave it my all and I'm happy, and I can take care of my family, I think I'll feel accomplished. Or
What do you think?
Yeah, I would say kind of, I guess, laying out that foundation for that family. Just because, like, I'm first generation, and I want to be able to lay that foundation for, you know, my nephews, my nieces, everyone else in my family, you know, start going to college, make that as, like, not necessarily, you know, a requirement, but something that's expected from you, kind of, you know. Basically, like Kevin said, you know, leaving your footprint and starting a legacy in a way.
And I think as being first generation, it's just, I've always taken it like I'm a role model. Being first generation, encouraging my brothers to go to college, encouraging my nephews, like they live in the hood. And so, you know, like I said, going back to that is statistics. There's a percentage that a lot of students don't make it. And I'm like, I was lucky enough to be able to push that and break that. I want that for my nephews and my nieces. And I think just leaving that footprint with them.
And another question, like, just came into my head. What I struggle with being, like, living in New York, and I had my apartment that was really nice, and I moved to Dallas, and my apartment was really nice, and then I go back home, and my parents are not living in what I would want them to live, right? And you have that constant struggle of, like, helping myself or helping them. With, like, being young as we are, and we're basically, like, putting our, like, step into the, like, entry level positions, like that fight that we have within ourselves to be like, do I help my family and give them that paycheck, or do I keep it and save it for myself?
what do you define as helping them?
Like, whether
Like,
it
are
be
you-
financially.
Financially.
Yeah, financially.
Or I feel like, I mean, someone told me, I forgot who it was, but like, and it really stuck with me though. They said you can't help anybody else unless you yourself are okay, all right. So I feel like I mean my goal is to you know, have my parents, you know, one day not just working or just chilling, you know, on a ranch, just sipping some type of tea, you know, organic. But that's my goal. But like, I can't do that, or I can't even. I want to help everybody, my whole family, cousins, everyone, opportunities, this and that. But I can't do that if I myself aren't in a position where I could do that. You know, my mind. You know, I would love to help everybody if I won the lottery, but I don't have the lottery. I need to get myself in that position where I can help people, where I can create opportunities. Because I feel like you're not successful unless the people that you break bread with, the people that are in your bloodline, aren't successful as well. I feel like you can't have success unless that's happening, you know?
And I think it also just depends on, like, for me, I've gone back and I've said, Mom, here, like, I can give, like, here's some money. And it came to a point where one day my mom was like, baby, why are you giving me money? And I'm like, oh, I just want you to have whatever you want and everything. And she's like, but that's for you. And even sometimes, like, my dad will slip me, like, a few bills and be like, here, like, para que te vayas a comprar algo, or para que vayas al cine. And I'm like, no, like, you keep it. Like, I'm good, Dad. But it's like, they're always thinking of us. And yes, but I've come to realize when I talk to them that it's not a monetary thing that they need from us. It's the time. It's the adventures.
Memories.
It's the conversations. Like, my dad could not care if we go somewhere, but if I sit there for 4 hours and listen to his stories,
And not be on your phone.
And I mean, I'm never really on my phone, but something like that, he's like the happiest person in the world.
Yeah, like they have something. I feel like, I mean, they know something that we don't know. And it's only through time that we will. And I think
they're parents. I mean, they know a different perspective of what we know.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they've been in that position that we are. So, yeah, I mean, getting something back from your kid. I mean, it's not to say that it's not important to them, but it's just.
As long as we're healthy and we're doing the right things.
They're not asking for much.
If they're definitely, like, if you can see that they need it, it's different.
Sure,
but I think
the
one of the things is, like, when I go home, I'm like, man, like, my parents should be living in, like, a bigger house. But then when I talk to them, they're like, why? It's only
They're
two
good.
of us.
Yeah.
Our house is paid off. Like, little things where it's just like, you're good here.
Yeah.
Like, your fears and your stresses from when we were younger aren't there anymore. Because you've reached that level where it's like
you're self-sufficient.
Yeah.
Like once you have a kid, I mean, especially like if your kid's good and all that, like healthy and like doing the right thing, you don't care about if you're happy, you're good, and I feel like money's not as important once other things are just other things overweigh that big time. You know, just happiness and just health.
Going to that original question, you know, how do you value success? I think to me will answer, you know, your second question. To me, that I know I've done some things successful or I feel successful when I leave a situation completely content. You know, you said it with getting that happiness from you know, managing that situation the best you could, whether, you know, it was.
It doesn't have to be anything crazy. It's like,
doesn't.
Yes, I made it through the day.
Yes,
I didn't kill anyone.
I didn't give in to my craving, and you know.
I went all day without some candy.
And hot Cheetos.
And hot Cheetos, right? Yeah, well, maybe not for me, but.
It's the little win.
But no, yeah, it goes back to that. You know, I certainly feel successful when I feel satisfied with the situation, and you know, even if it wasn't completely what I expected it to be or wanted it to be, if things worked out for the best and I felt, you know, good about it, then I know, okay, I can leave this thinking it was a success. I mean, I definitely know that when it comes to, you know, helping out my family, my parents, of course, it goes through my mind like, dude, I want to give you everything that I possibly can give you back. Oh, I want to give it to you times 100, you know, because of, you know, I know the struggles you went through. I know that, you know, I came from a single parent home, and I can just be like, Mom, my salary right now is probably more than what you made, and how did you do it? How I'm struggling, you know, some months. Like, okay, I'll make it, but no going out this month. No, you know, no fooling around. No doing this and that. And actually, I'm currently like that because I planned a trip to Guadalajara that I'm gonna go do, and I was like, okay, I can either use this money for fun or plan a trip to go see a really good friend of mine. I was like, okay, I'll do it. So then once I did that, you know, I was talking to my mom about it, and she's like, oh, well, I can send you some money. And I'm like, no. Believe me, like, you have just done so much more than I could have ever asked for. That is the least thing that I would want you to do. Yeah. You know? So yeah, success to me is just being happy with the situation and knowing that everything that I was trying to accomplish and everything that I could accomplish, if it was for the betterment of that situation, we're great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, see, success also, like, I want, hopefully I live to be 90 plus, and I want to be that little raisin, but I want to be that little old wrinkly man that's happy. I try to do things. Well,
On a rocking chair with some sweet tea.
Yeah, like with some a lot of sugar. Cause like
Like sweet tea.
yeah, with some vodka sweet tea. What? Some mezcal with the little orange. Oh, but anyways, I want see like we want to be. I feel like I want to do things to where I want to be the happiest version of my old self as possible. Like I want to do things in life to make me the happiest old man possible. And I don't know what that is yet, but I feel like what I'm doing right now, it's risky. There's nothing is guaranteed, but you know that's the cool thing. Like, meeting people that do the same thing you do, not necessarily like the same exact trade or like whatever. You know, we do like a creative or digital work. Like yesterday, I met the owners of Strangeland Brewery, and their story, which is a podcast, it'll be up soon. But their story,
Looking forward to it.
It's like they were on just going downhill, but they said you have to build downwards momentum. You're going downhill, but that downhill you build momentum, and then boom, you're gonna go up.
That's right.
You gotta build that
Oh, I love
momentum
that.
where you're having a shitty time. You gotta make the best out of every situation, because that old man, when I'm 90 years old, is gonna say those words. You know, I made the best out of a shitty situation.
I did it right.
You want to live with no regrets. At the end of the day.
Yeah, I want to.
YOLO.
I
Just
want to be
love.
97, one arm, be like, shit, I don't regret
One
losing this
arm.
arm.
You want to hear how
You
I
know?
lost this arm? Ooh, it's a story. It's a story.
For real, you know?
That's cool. Now, yeah.
See what
Have
had
some
happened
tea.
was.
That's the tea.
But yeah,
That was cool. How long have we been doing this?
It's been an hour plus.
Hour plus?
Yeah.
It's like
To go
2
put in more
hours.
quarters
That is
in the
not
meat.
been
22
20
minutes.
Really, I was like, man, talk about slow.
Yeah,
That's
well,
beats.
I think this is a good point to end. This
Yeah.
was really
no,
good.
one more thing before
Oh,
we
one
end.
more.
One more thing. All right, everyone has to. Well, because this is how I find out a lot of good artists. So everyone, I guess, name your favorite song right now, and a book or something that motivates you. That like you might have a YouTube channel or a talk on a TED talk or whatever. So your favorite song and one thing that you want someone to look at or hear. Or
Like
whatever.
a takeaway.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Just one? Or
Yeah, your favorite song and then one thing
Let
that
me
someone
look
should
at
take
my
away.
favorite song and one thing to take away.
Or your favorite
Got
podcast
this?
or whatever, you know,
so
it could be whatever.
One song has been stuck in my head all day. Well, not all day, but all week. Essentially, it's by Daniel Caesar. It's called "Get You." It's a super slow love song. It's a great song.
Aww.
Yeah, I'm a little heartbroken, so that's why I'm listening to it.
I am too, so I feel you.
Dang.
Takeaway. Listen to this podcast, man. This is super encouraging. Hearing just you guys talking here is like super encouraging. You know, coming from the same background, super uplifting. I'm probably gonna call my mom after this, honestly, just to tell her hi.
It's cool. Okay.
Oh, but wait, what was the name of the podcast though? Oh, this one?
Oh, this one. Oh, yeah. I also recommend this podcast. My jam at the moment is Automaton by Jamiroquai. It's one of their newest single. They haven't released one in a while. It's fantastic. Listen to it, and once you start, it sounds. I'll admit, when I first heard it, I'm not gonna like this song, and the chorus just comes in, and I was. Yeah, we should listen to it after this. What's something I can recommend? I'm a big movie fan. I'm a huge film buff. I love, like, the Oscars are my bread and butter. I recently did an Oscars trivia night, and I swept that entire thing. I mean, there were people from the Alamo Drafthouse that were competing, and sorry if you guys are listening, but my team beat theirs, and they're, like, to work at the Drafthouse, you have to know a lot of film trivia, and we still beat them. So I 1000% recommend Manchester by the Sea. As a movie total, it was okay, but as somebody who writes, it is an absolutely fabulous script. It is so well written, so well executed. The acting in it is superb, and yeah, if you guys haven't had a chance to see it, I definitely recommend it.
So my song would be Blessings by Chance the Rapper, because I'm obsessed with Chance. If anybody knows me, I love him. And then the one thing that really motivates me, if I'm ever down, heartbroken, like just having a bad day, I look up any quotes by Paulo Coelho.
Yeah.
And then he's a Brazilian like novelist, author. So any of his
The
quotes, inspire me and keep me going because he has a little bit of everything. So
I guess music-wise, I love Lady Gaga, so I'm just gonna promo
Love
buy
her.
like buy her album. I'm just kidding. John Wayne, that's like my favorite one right now. I'm gonna go see her in Dallas. I'm so excited. Something motivating, I guess, right now is just listening to everybody's story and just like he said that we're minorities, but we're growing and we're giving our footprint or whatever, and I'm just excited to do that as well. So
We're minorities, but we're not minor in any way.
Exactly.
Yes, ma'am.
Preach.
yeah.
So, my current favorite song is called Believer by Imagine Dragons. I thought they went away. I thought they were going to be like a one-hit band, but they came back with full force, and I'm obsessed with that song. Then again, like I feel so inspired today just by, being in a room full of badass Latinos. Like, this, I'm never, I work with mostly like non-Hispanics, so this is amazing to me right now. Something I would recommend, I guess, going along with Hugo, I would recommend a movie. I watched Logan last night.
Yeah.
It was amazing. It was a closure to my childhood. I grew up, loving the X-Men movies, and I almost cried at the end. So, yeah, no spoilers.
You did, didn't you?
Heard
Yeah.
he died.
The song I'm currently obsessed with is Despacito, the Luis Fonsi and Daddy
I
Yankee
love
song.
him.
Oh, I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with Daddy Yankee, so that's pretty much it. The thing that I'd like someone to take away, since I'm like the old soul here, smile. Like I would say, I'd want people to know that it can be a crappy moment, like, anything can happen in our industry and in your life, but smile and ask yourself the questions of, can I do anything about it? And should I let it affect me? Because a lot of times I'm seeing people who will worry about things. And when you ask yourself, should you be worrying about this? The question is, well, yes. Can you do anything about it? Well, no, because it's in somebody else's, hands. Okay, then move on and just smile and work to the next, challenge.
Move forward.
Yes.
My favorite song right now, it's Cha Cha by Drum. It's just so happy.
Yeah, we both been bumping that shit. I was gonna say that same shit.
I'm so happy.
I'll give you a little piece of it. Like,
I didn't like him. See, I thought he was
Yeah,
like
why
he does
didn't we have
broccoli.
music playing in the background? Or something?
We can't.
It's
Can we
South by.
incorporate
look
that?
how happy this is.
But yeah,
Have you
like
seen Beyonce
like-
dance in a song?
No.
he's so like I recommend you see his he's on NPR, the Tiny Desk. I thought he was like just another rapper, but his soul and he's so happy doing what he does. That's how I want to be. I want to be happy doing what I do. That smile he has while he's singing, I want to cha cha, yeah. Just it's so
Smiling can
contagious.
change the world, guys.
Yes,
Right.
it can. Oh, one thing I recommend. Shots of Awe by Jason Silva. He's this Latino. Well, he's not considered like a. Well, he's a Venezuelan, but like he's like a philosopher slash. I don't know, thinker. But he has like a show on National Geographic. But he has on YouTube. If you type in Shots of Awe, it's quick little 2-minute, 1-minute videos where he just goes on tangents about happiness, about creativity, about why being bilingual makes you on average you have a higher IQ if you are bilingual, multicultural. But he goes on these tangents. If you watch those videos, it's like a shot of espresso, but espresso and a shot of awe. Your brain just starts working and functioning. It's like taking an Adderall with video.
Okay.
All right, next person.
Yeah, next.
But yeah, the song I've been bumping to is Cha Cha also. I mean, we live together and we work in the same spot and like our bedrooms are like this close to each other.
BFFs forever.
Yeah,
Aw.
yeah. That song.
Aye.
And inspiring. I run a lot, so I just I listen to books and I listen to Diane Guerrero's "In the Country We Live
Oh
In,"
yeah.
and she really describes like growing up as an immigrant, you're always told to shut up, be quiet, don't make waves at all.
Yeah.
And like just recently, now like past 2 years, I've been kind of like stepping out of that and starting to make waves. Like push waves, make a little disruption, because it's okay now. I don't know. Now I realize.
It's always been
Yeah,
okay.
okay.
Yeah,
Now you
except
just-
my parents never. They were like, "Shut the fuck up," stay there. No, they didn't stay shut. No, they said it in a nice way.
yeah, my parents.
In a nice
Mom,
way.
Dad, sorry.
No, that's why they just always tell me, don't get in trouble, don't do anything, don't speak up, whatever. And it's still, I still have trouble like speaking up and all that, but I'm getting a lot better.
Good.
And with that book, she talks
Yeah.
about like this whole thing. I'm like, damn, like it's normal, it's okay.
Yeah, you're
And
not
she's
alone.
beautiful.
Yeah,
She
she's
is
hot.
beautiful.
She's fucking hot.
Okay, calm down.
Because I think that's I think we can close with that. Probably the best thing to take away from all of this is we shared our stories and we shared things that we feel and our opinions, and hopefully anybody else who's listening is knowing that you aren't the only person who thinks this way. I mean, we certainly we have our experiences that happen in our lives, and we think, oh, this is unique to me. This is happening only to me. Like, why me? Why does this happen? I know I've thought that many times, and yeah, we're not alone. We're not the only ones.
And don't be afraid to be somebody. Just do it. Just do it.
Or to be involved in your community and helping each other grow. I think that's one of the things that a lot of people don't do. And I think just being involved and learning more about your culture, I think that's going to help.
Nothing happens in the comfort zone.
Nothing happens in the comfort zone.
Nothing
Exactly.
That's the name of this
That's
podcast.
the title.
Nothing.
Very cool. All right, y'all. Well, thanks a lot.
Yay.
Yay.
Pursue. I hope to see you guys again. Yeah.